Alright folks, I'm back for part 2 of my Duchy of Warsaw grenadier videos. Before I get started, I want to say I got a lot of nice comments on the first part, and I appreciate what you all said. Made me feel pretty good. So thanks a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully this one will do the same thing for you. I've Where we left off, I was going to start on the black, and so I've gone ahead and painted in the black bits, cartridge box, sword, and bayonet scabbards, and the Busby. I achieved this by starting off with a gray, just a neutral gray color, over, base coat over all the parts that were going to be black. Followed it up by a black wash, and then just a small little highlight with the gray, the same neutral gray, mainly just on the edges of the cartridge box. A little bit on the scabbards too, and just the edge of the brim of the Busby. I rarely paint pure black on much of anything. I do sometimes, but not very often, because you can't really shade black. Black is black. You can highlight it a little bit, but depending on what you're doing, my opinion is, if you start out black, you don't have anywhere else to go for a shadow tone. That's just my opinion. Next thing I'm going to work on is the reds. And I'm going to use this triad for the reds. It's going to be corn red for the shadow color, Wazdaka red for the base color, and the highlight is going to be squig orange. Now, to me, this used to be sort of unusual for me. I thought it was kind of odd, but I've come to kind of like it. When I first picked it up, I was doing these Deathwing Terminators, and they had a lot of red on them, as far as the weapon, knife scabbard, that sort of thing. But they've also got these in the shoulder pad. But they've also got these cords draped all over them, and so I wanted to try to make the cords a different red than the rest of the red, so it would stand out. Now, I'm not sure how well it'll show up on the video here, but the shoulder pad red and the cord red are distinctly different in person. I'm not sure how well it shows here, but anyway, so that's where I first learned about this particular triad, and it's what I used on the test model. I've come to like it, especially for cords and things like that. I think it looks pretty good. Now, I didn't use the squig orange highlight on the cuffs, the cuff facings. It was just on the epaulets and the cord around the hat, and a little bit on the top of the plume. So I'll get that done, and we'll be back. Okay, so here we are with the red parts done. This is all three colors, except for the little cross ribbon on the top of the head. That's just corn red, and on the cuff facings, I didn't use the squig orange highlight. I just stopped at the red base coat color. So now I think we need to do some white. and the white will be the jacket turnbacks, the center of the jacket, and the equipment straps that you see, as as well as the spats. So for the white, I'll be starting out with Celestia Gray, followed by Ulthuan Gray, and the highlight will be White Scar. And these are going to be done, I mean, this is going to be done just like anything else. The only thing about this particular piece is, in order to get definition between the equipment straps and the center of the jacket there, because they're both going to be the same color of white, I need to be pretty careful about leaving shadows under and behind the straps to create a depth effect. I think I pulled it off to a degree on my test model, and so that's what I'm going to be shooting for, that type of effect. Also the cuffs, I'm not sure what they're called. The parts of the cuffs in the center with the 3 brass buttons, that's going to go to Ulthuan Gray, but it's not going to have a White Scar highlight on it. And the little cockade there, that'll be white too. Okay, and I forgot to mention before, when I paint miniatures, I try to paint them in a specific order. I like to start at the area that's deepest on the miniature. For example, in these cases, I started with the flesh. Now, the face is generally going to be the deepest part of the head, at least. It doesn't always hold true with the hands, but just out of habit, I just always start with the flesh. And what I mean by the deepest is you paint the flesh tones first, and then, for example, the mustache there and the sideburns, you can paint that as easier since it's projecting off of what you've already painted. Well, let me try to rephrase it. For me, it seems easier to paint the mustache after the flesh has been painted because it's higher. It projects out. It's easier for me to catch it with the tip of my brush rather than painting the mustache first and then going back and trying to paint the flesh tones and the shadows underneath the mustache. I think everybody, or I think most people probably do this, but I've never actually heard it talked about in a video. So I figured I would just mention it. And then, like, to continue on with that, the next thing I painted was the jacket, the blue of the jacket. All of the white will be sitting on top of the blue. All of the red is on top of the blue. I painted the black before the red, so I could paint the red cords as they sat on top of the black hat, that type of thing. So anyway, let me get the white done, and we'll see how that turns out, and we'll catch you back here. Okay, we've got the white laid in, and it's starting to look like something now. So we're just about coming to the end of this thing. We've got the backpack left, which will be in a brown, and the ground cloth or blanket roll on top of the backpack. Some brass, a little bit of brass here and there, and rifle stock and barrel. So I guess next I'll go ahead and do the rifle stock and the backpack. The backpack is going to be a brown color combination, and I use this same color setup on anything, just about anything that's leather or brown material. I use Rhinox hide for the base, with a shadow. I use Mornfang Brown for the layer on top of that. And which I don't have or don't see right in front of me is oh, here it is. Scrag Brown will be the highlight. Um, and for the material of this, the way this backpack is sculpted, and I think it's supposed to be like a cowhide covering or something along those lines. Basically, I'll just lay in the first two colors, and then the highlight color will be kind of a dry brush almost around the edges. If the light's catching any of that, get some idea. The blanket roll will be basically the same blue as the jacket, except I'll take it one further step. I'll use the Hoeth blue for the final highlight. The weird a Laytok blue will be the base color, and we'll still use the Cantor blue again as the shadow. Now this time I'll paint it just as a straight triad, like traditionally, instead of doing any type of mixing. So I'm gonna do the gun stock, Doom Bull brown, nice reddish brown, and I'll do the backpack, and we'll be back. Okay guys, I've finished up the next stage now. The light coming in through the window here is playing tricks on my painting table, so it's a little hard to get it just right. But I think you get the idea. This is pretty simple stuff anyway. I've got the reddish brown color on the gun stock. I've got the bedroll done up, and the backpack. I'm not sure how well the colors are displaying on the backpack there, but anyway, all three are on there. And so now we're just about finished with this guy. We've got the metal on the gun left, and we've got the brass bits, the brass sword hilt, and the plate on the busby, or bearskin, whichever it is, and the straps on the back of the pack. The straps are going to be handled the same way as the cream colored that I did before, and the brass is going to be a base coat of Balthazar gold from Citadel, followed by brass scorpion, also from Citadel. Normally when I do brass, I would do a darker base coat than the Balthazar gold. I would normally do Warplock bronze, I think, or something similar. But in this case, I want the brass to really show. So I'm starting with this the brighter base coat. Also, the bands, the barrel bands on the gun are going to get the brass treatment as well. And I think that's it. Oh, the gun metal itself. I do this different all the time because I'm still looking for a way I really like to do it. I haven't found it yet, although this comes pretty close. I make a mix of a metal color, lead belcher, because it's the darkest one I have currently, and black, about half and half. So I get a really nice dark steel color. I use that as the base coat, and then go back and highlight with just straight lead belcher for these particular types of guns, and the bayonet too. I'll do that the same way. Yeah, I know lots of people paint gunmetal different ways. I just haven't found a way that I really super like yet. This is about the closest I've come so far. is doing it this way. And again, this is, I know it's not showing up the best, but anyway. So I'll get this guy finished up, and then I'll be back for the end of the video. Okay, so here he is all finished up. Got the brass and the gunmetal were the last things I did, and just painted the bit of the base a dark brown. So other than putting them on a base, these guys are finished. I'm going to mount them on 40mm square bases. I've got some on the order from Litco. I don't have them yet, but this will be the start. This will be the start of my Polish army that I'm doing. These are the first 4 I've done. So I've got a ways to go yet, but it's been a lot of fun. I might do some more of these types of videos later on. It was pretty enjoyable, and hopefully somebody found it interesting. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.